Alright. Welcome back to Dandadan, Anime Review, Episode 17. We're here reviewing the 24th episode of the series for Dandadan, which is called Clash Space Kaiju vs. Giant Robot, which also, sadly, happens to be the final episode of Season 2. Yes, we do have Season 3 coming! Hooray! Especially, basically, the series has been really good so far. So, in this episode, they adapt from chapter 16 to 71 plus the volume 9 Omega. Yes, in just a few pages, they just insert it in here. It's basically the Omega is an explanation for a scene that we see a little bit later on in the episode. I'm glad they integrated really well here. So, we start with last episode. Momo basically came with the idea that transform make the giant robot into a Buddha, which they can't move, and just push one button apiece, and what happens? Well, the arm falls off, Arun-kun gets ejected, and then of course Sikita basically goes like, no, stop punching buttons, let me do it. And this causes basically, and of course Evil Eye just wants to get out of the robot so badly because he wants to beat the crap out of Arun-kun. And he does. And Arun-kun is basically out of the robot like right away. And of course, you have basically fighting the kaiju, like throwing around the place and punching him. Heck, he even has the thing regenerate. Yes, regenerate. Which I find is so cool. And they basically brawl and they do damage to the streets of Tokyo. And I'm thinking, like, how is nobody running away from this battle between a kaiju and a robot? So they fight for quite a while, and then of course the arms fall off. Of course, Senka is basically told to stop because they're giving basically Momo and Arya motion sickness. So basically use their powers combined with the robot to defeat the kaiju. And then they transform into a flying saucer. They go back to the house, which of course is, partially. And then we have Arun-kun and Evil Eye, who basically he's able to get attention by throwing him basically a meat bun. Turn back to Gigi, and they pick up the kaiju, which apparently is shrunken down. And then they take it back to Momo's place, where as soon as basically Shinken and the girls arrive there, the first thing they do was vomit because they got motion sickness from basically powering that robot. And and of course they want to look inside this little kaiju and like, oh, there's something inside. And he proceeds to unzip the front, and there's a girl inside. Who then proceeds, and of course basically Momo sees this. Who then proceeds to make out with Arun-kun, making her the first girl to kiss Arun-kun of the whole... Well, actually, second one, because Momo's done it too. And then she wants to fix the house, and he crushes the cube, and the thing turns to goo. And that's the season, mind you. Yes, they couldn't... You think... Here's the weird thing, though. There actually is 2 more chapters of this arc they just didn't adapt for some reason. Which, they're more like an epilogue to the arc. You can think of basically 71 as like the conclusion, and actually more like 70 the conclusion. This is more like the epilogue. But my guess is we'll probably get a chance to resume that next year when they do Season 3. Now, we don't have confirmation for Season 3 when it's going to come out, but it is coming. It is coming. But my guess is to probably just do the last 2 chapters of this arc, and probably, and this is my personal guess, and probably have the whole season cover the Space Globalist arc. Yeah. It's going to have a Space Globalist arc, which that's going to be quite lengthy. I was thinking that's what's going on. It goes like looking for a ball, and of course, yeah. So, occasionally curious though, The Space Globalist arc starts chapter 74 and concludes with chapter 120. It's one of the more lengthier arcs of the series. It's 47 chapters. Now, if they do 12 episode format, since it's 47 chapters, you would think basically that they could probably cover this in. Could they cover this in 12 episodes? I don't think so. Not really. Yeah. If they're gonna adapt this arc, they better have it last more than 12 episodes, because this arc is lengthy. 47 chapters. Like, even if they do like 3 chapters an episode, they probably won't be able to cover everything. That, or this season is gonna have this split up into 2 cores, because this arc is lengthy. As for the remainder arcs, the next one after that is the Ultimate arc. This one's only 8 chapters. Not long. Then you have the Demore arc. Which this one is 37 chapters, this one. Starts in chapter 129, concludes in 165. The Knives arc basically is the, well, oh, by the way, the Demore arc is actually the end of the Kensmo Hunt saga. And I believe this is the arc where Toboggan gets written out of the series. The Constant Knives arc, this lasts for... It's actually the second to most recent arc of the manga. This lasts chapter 66 and wrapped up chapter 91. The current arc is the... Actually, the third most recent arc. There was Typhoid Human, which is 8 chapters, 200. The current arc, as we're going to chapter 201, it's basically on about 10 chapters now. I would say the Space Globalists take a while to go through, given that it's 47 chapters. The Ottoman arc, if they do 2 chapters an episode, they could probably cover this arc in 4 episodes. Dandadan, they could probably have a whole season cover this one. The Knives one. This one is just 26 chapters, so they can probably cover this in maybe 1 season of this one. It could be like, I think probably starting with Space Globalist. They're probably going to have mostly put every single season from that point forward. Probably cover a full arc of the manga. That is presumed they do that. And so far in 2 seasons, they've only covered the first 71 chapters in 24 episodes. Of course, the series did it really well. But as for my final thoughts on the season, really good. I thought it was interesting they added Bryce Book to this cast, because he is somebody I never expected to join this cast. I think maybe the reason why that they haven't joined, because there's no more Attack on Titan. That's for sure done. Yeah. So that you're probably thinking, well, Blue Exorcist can come back. That definitely can. The main 7 Daily Sin series, that's officially wrapped up. It's more focused on the Four Nights Apocalypse, and his appearance in that series is more recurring, not the start of the series. So he doesn't have to do that very much. He probably had opening in his schedule. That's probably the reason why he's able to do these last few episodes of the season. Yeah, which great. Of course, this season is kind of interesting because they effectively covered, mostly put like 3 story arcs a season. First, they cover the rest of the Cursed House arc, and Then they went to the Evil Eye arc, which that took up the middle portion of the season. Yeah, you see, Cursed House for the season, you see, it actually was a continuation of arc from last season when they started, but they didn't finish because they ran out of time. So, Cursed House, that took up approximately 5 episodes. 5 out of 12. Evil Eye, this was started the same time as it started the same time as Cursed House wrapped up. This took up roughly 5 episodes. Well, more like 4.5. And then Kaiju arc, this one took up about 3.5. This is actually the shortest arc of the whole season. And as in terms of the anime, as of right now, the way it's done, if you want to think what is the shortest arc of the series, it's probably Acrobat Silky, given the fact this took up roughly 2.5 episodes. I'd say yes. Actually, this one was like three episodes, same amount as Senpo. Chobo Granny, that was more like 4.25 episodes. So, I would say currently that, you think, what about Evil Eye and Kaiju? Kaiju started with chapter 63, which was, they did start this arc. I would say that this arc took up roughly 3.5 episodes. But so far, Cursed House is currently the longest in terms of the anime right now, with more like 6.5 episodes. Yes. So it's like first season they covered at least 4 story arcs in 12 episodes. At least they started to, but they ran out of time. And then this season pretty much was continuing that. So I'm guessing Kaiju probably going to be finished up probably at the start of the very next season of the show, and probably go through Space Scope List. Yeah. And I should mention, yes, they did release 2 movies. One was First Encounter, which is basically the first 3 episodes just editing it as a movie. And the Evil Eye arc is the Evil Eye movie, is pretty much the first 3 seasons of the show. And unlike in the case of Rise Your Hero, which this one basically had it where all the episodes were released like the same day released in Japan. It was like the Rise Your Hero 2, but they decided to stop that for some weird reason, and now it's being switched from simul dub to simulcast. Maybe because some of it must have ran behind, who knows. But yeah, that is pretty much it for a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. So basically now, Thursday is now reduced down from 3 down to 2 anime. But next up is going to be basically a comic corner, and then it's on to Dr. Stone. Okay, next video. Bye.